Hello and welcome to today's video, which is about times of day. So firstly, good morning. Question, when does it stop being morning? And the answer is at 12 o'clock or midday. And just as a note, there's not anything that you use only in the middle of the day, either side of 12 o'clock, like there is in Karen language. Good afternoon. When does afternoon start? And the answer, after noon. What is noon? Noon is another word for 12 o'clock or midday. Good evening. When does evening start? Answer, it's not a fixed time like afternoon. It depends on the light. You can say it starts about when cars on the road would turn their headlights on. When it's starting to get dark. The light is not as bright as it was 30 minutes ago. That's the start of evening. Good night. So when does evening end and night begin? Again, it depends a bit on how dark it is. How quickly the light disappears changes with where you are in the world. In Thailand, once the sun goes down, it gets dark very quickly. As you get further away from the equator, north or south, the time it takes to get dark gets longer and longer. And in summer, it never gets dark at all at the north and south poles. So if the light has not yet disappeared, you would continue to use good evening until about 8 p.m. After 8 p.m., you would say good night, even if it was not 100% dark. It also depends on whether you will be seeing the person you're talking to again that day. You would say goodnight after about 6 p.m. if this is the last time you will see the person that day. For example, Sotet lives in Mesot. He and his friends leave your house at 6:30 p.m. to go to the cinema. They will be back around 9:30. You would say good evening when they leave because you're going to see them again later. So SA gives you a lift home from work in his car and drops you at your house at 6:30 p.m. You would say good night because you're not going to see him again until tomorrow. So even though the example with Sortet and the example with SA both happen at 6:30 p.m., you would use a different answer. Okay, your turn. You try. Lunchtime at your school is from 11:20 a.m. to 12:30 a.m. You meet someone after the last class in the morning. Do you say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good night? And I'm going to give you the answer. The answer is good morning. Next one. About 5:30 p.m., you go for a run for exercise. You meet someone on the road. It's not yet 100% dark, but the light is disappearing fast. Do you say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good night? And the answer for that one, good evening. Okay, next one. It's about 4 p.m. and break time between classes at school. You meet the headmaster. Do you say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good night? And the answer, good afternoon. It's summer and the days are long. You're at home in your flat and it is about 7 p.m., but still not completely dark. You are feeling unwell and decide to go to bed early. What do you say to your flatmates? Do you say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good night? And the answer, good night. You go to visit your friend who moved to Finland a few years ago. It's 10 p.m. at night, but it's still not dark. When you leave, do you say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good night? And the answer, Good night. You go to a party at your friend's house. Everyone is having a lot of fun eating and drinking and playing games. The party ends about 2 a.m. Do you say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good night? And the answer for that one, good night or good morning. Both are okay. And this is the end, my friend. See you next time.